But quite frankly, I think a lot of people share the same lessons and highlights. So let's get into it while I get my makeup done.
I remember when we were staring photo.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Rhoda Olorafemi, and if you're new here, welcome. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you. Please click on subscribe button to get subscribed to my channel and turn on the notification button to get notified whenever there's a new video up on my channel. Thank you guys. I hope I'm not late to the party because I've just seen To Kill a Monkey by Kemi Adetiba, and I just knew within me that I needed to put out my highlights and the lessons learned from it. Prior to this time, I'd seen people's reviews and feedbacks on the movie, and I really didn't want to have that at the back of my mind when watching it, so that it doesn't dictate my own judgment, and I don't think it did. But quite frankly, I think a lot of people share the same lessons and highlights. So let's get into it while I get my makeup done. To Kill a Monkey is a movie that is centered on love, family, money, trust, and betrayal. But before we start, I need to give due credit and flowers to Bucci Franklin and, of course, other cast of the movie. Bucci Franklin delivered his role as boss perfectly, with great mannerism, language, and coordination. Oh my god, I don't know who else would have delivered that role aside from Bucci Franklin. I also liked how Stella Damasos, Kemi, and Williams Benson played their roles. They did it so seamlessly and effortlessly. Starting off with my number one lesson is negotiation. Negotiation in terms of business. Remember when Efemini and Obos were going to start the joint partnership? Regardless of the pressure that Efemini was under to actually make money and start living a proper life, still had to negotiate his court. They went back and forth and finally agreed. So that was a powerful lesson there. Especially when you know the value that you're bringing, it's very important to pause and negotiate. Don't go into business ventures in a hurry. Make sure that you're negotiating what suits you and what compensates for the value that you're bringing in. Number two, breaking off bad habits or bad acts can be very hard. As a matter of fact, it's very difficult to stop doing bad things the moment you start doing it and get comfortable with them. They can start off as being subtle or very harmless until they generate into bigger problems. I say this because Efe started off by forging certificates for people back when he was a fresh graduate and was working at the cafe, and then he later on went on to commit adultery against his wife, and that was why he was very comfortable with buying into the business idea that our boss brought to him. You can argue that he didn't immediately agree into that, but at the end of the day he still agreed into that because he didn't have the principles as much, and so he couldn't even stand on his principles. If he hadn't started off by forging certificates or by committing adultery to earn money and stuff like that, it would have been very hard for him to say no to a boss and actually cut off ties with him, knowing fully well what a boss was into. But because he had been used to doing things that were bad or things that were wrong, he didn't have a ground to stand on to say, oh no, this is against my principles and I cannot do it. So the best thing is to not get comfortable doing bad things. Number three, rekindling old relationships sometimes can be better than entering into new one or trusting a new person. Just like the saying goes, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. Not thinking of the fact that it would have been better for him to go back to a boss and let him know what the situation was, and both of them would then form an alliance against teacher and bring him down together. I think if he had done that, things would have been much more better because they were newer in the game and they would have just easily taken down teacher together. But if he thought that he could forge a new alliance or relationship with teacher to bring down his friend and he would be free, but he was wrong. So trusting people can be hard, and quite frankly, you shouldn't even trust anyone. Number four, money is truly the root of all evil. Efemini truly had a hard life, but at the end, He would have given up all he had to go back to that life and hope for the light at the end of the tunnel. Because he lost everything, including the people who he went all out to get a better life for. He lost his freedom, he lost his peace, he lost his self of reasoning, he lost his family, especially his child who even dated or was his friend. And at the end, he lost his dignity. All for what? For money. Number 5 is pressure. And let me tell you, pressure can be a good or bad thing depending on how you use it as a drive. Efemini used his own pressure as a bad drive. Efe got pressure from his mother-in-law. And though he was really trying, like we could see that he was trying and really wanted his family out of poverty, but he delved into his end by bowing to pressure negatively. In my opinion, the only person who had the right to mount pressure on him was his wife. Good enough, she didn't even pressure him. Succumbing to the pressure from his mother-in-law was a wrong decision. And number 6, knowing your truth and standing by your truth even when no one believes it is very important. You are your number one cheerleader, and as long as you know your truth and you stand on it, what other people think don't matter. Even if you've gone through the worst experience and they're using that to gaslight you, stand on your truth. I say this because Inspector Ogunlesi was being gaslighted, and the lesson here is, as long as you know your truth, stand by it. Your truth does not have to make sense to anyone, because all along she was right. But people were using her predicament and the therapy she was undergoing against her, and that was very sad. Thankfully, she was vindicated at the end, and that made me really happy. That's all from my review on the movie. Let me know if you guys have watched it. Let me know what your lessons and highlights were. By the way, can you guys tell that I'm not getting better at doing this makeup thing? Just look at the brows. I think I did a good job this time around, and I'm actually getting a blend of it, and that makes me excited. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.